Hi, this is Swapnil Bhartiya, and we are on the third day or second day.
Third day.
Third day of KubeCon, and we have once again with us Rob. Once again, a lot of keynote, a lot of sessions.
Yeah.
Give us an overview.
Wow, today was a good day. A lot more mellow than yesterday. It is the third day, second day of the formal conference, and so everybody I think is been getting their conference energy down, and tomorrow should be much more relaxed, even so. But I was talking to a friend, and we were both sort of saying there weren't a lot of major announcements, there weren't a lot of big surprises. Kubernetes has reached such dominance in market that it's sort of the assumed platform, and so we're not seeing the sort of the jockeying for I have the biggest splash announcement of anybody at these conferences. I mean, maybe the CNCF is helping control the word, but we're just not seeing that much drama. And I have to say that's refreshing. It's nice to have a conference without any drama. And there's still a lot of work to be done. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
It's not good for bloggers and journalists because there's nothing for them to write about.
It does, yeah. You don't have the I think the angriest thing I saw was somebody saying that it was too expensive in an environmental impact to fly to conferences, and that was the controversy of the day.
Oh, well, really? Now we are having these kind of discussions now?
That's a reasonable thing to think about. They do an amazing job streaming the content, making things available. And if that's your primary goal, you should say, I have the same feeling about AWS reInvent. It's very hard to get into sessions. And so if you're here to connect with people and be part of the community, that's amazing. And there were a lot of stories that we saw of community and interactions and people working together across corporate lines. And I think that's a big theme of what things are going. Kelsey Hightower gave a very inspirational speech about how people work together and thinking through not just Kubernetes community and collaboration, but we're training ourselves to be community and collaborative. And if people haven't seen Kelsey's talk, it's inspirational, thinking about how deeply we need to work together to be on the same team. And so I would, it's always smart to watch Kelsey's commentary and storytelling. So that's always useful.
Yeah, we interviewed him this morning. And yeah, he was like, I said, I could not come to your keynote. Yeah, damn, because he also said that this was the first time he did not use any technology for his keynote. He was like, it was just, no demo, no,
just storytelling.
Just storytelling. So I also, in an interview, we also explored, that how he why he does that, why he comes out, with this new format every time. And some secrets that how he comes up with those ideas.
Yeah.
So that would be a great interview.
All right, so there's a teaser for people to go see that interview. That would be really worth seeing. And I've seen him speak at DevOps Days and things like that, and he connects, right? And he talks about overcoming adversity, right? Being role models, and those are important things. And we need to be in these communities, not just thinking about what we're getting out of it, but what we work together. And it's funny because connecting the first thoughts about Kubernetes is not the KubeCon, the whole community. That's the vibe here. It's a good thing. I had somebody asking me why is that different than what OpenStack was, and we talked about this yesterday, and it's always worth talking about. It's there's staying power here because what Kubernetes is solving is something that's already solvable. People can can use it. They've built something that's cross companies, cross clouds. I think that's a big deal.
Also, I mean, the comparison with the OpenStack is a bit, kind of not fair, because OpenStack is building your own cloud, and it's not something you can just do on your laptop. You won't need it. So it has its own, limited, scope and market,
Kubernetes or OpenStack was really fighting a war on two fronts. It still fights a war on two fronts, against Amazon and the other public clouds and VMware and other virtualization. And so it's sort of never, it always had, something to overcome. Right. And it was actually at a disadvantage in both of those cases. Kubernetes runs on all those infrastructures. So there's no prerequisite, if you will, for that. And so from that perspective, we can immediately get into how Kubernetes is useful to people. So, and I've been talking to people about operability in Kubernetes, and I still think there's a long, big gap in running Kubernetes yourself. And we see that in vendors. A lot of vendors are trying to make it simple, and that's their story, and that's how their distros are valued, which is very similar to OpenStack. But you don't have to go that route. So there's no barrier. If you just want a simple Kubernetes, there's a ton of vendors now. I think they listed 100 distros, and every major cloud vendor that I saw, I think Linode just came out with theirs. Basically, you just say, add me Kubernetes, pick some machines, and you get Kubernetes. And that's a standard operating model now. So there's no barrier for learning how to use Kubernetes. If you actually want to run an internal cluster, that's a bigger question. We talk about people doing that. The bare metal question that RackN cares about is always, can I do it on bare metal, and how hard is that? And compared to point and click, it's hard. And we're going to have to work as a community to improve operability and figure out what that story is. And that's a place where the OpenStack comparison is apt. OpenStack, earned a reputation for being hard to operate. And it was hard to operate because you had to install it on infrastructure, and infrastructure is hard to operate. And to me, the next phase of Kubernetes growth is solving that problem. Because what I want to see, what I hope to see, is more software vendors, more people actually building software that runs in Kubernetes, and you can buy, just buy it, rather than having to do everything as a SaaS. That's the next layer. Everybody here is talking about hybrid, multi-cloud, and all these things. Like Kubernetes is the abstraction layer that lets me move my stuff everywhere. And yet, we're not actually adding that much, commercial software into it. And I'm a big fan of commercial software. I think, people ultimately want control. They want to be able to manage their own destiny. We need to make things simpler. I don't think that the only model for delivering software is SaaS. Maybe that'll earn me some hate mail. That's just fine. I want to have a discussion about that. But I think it's very innovative when people own their own software and their own destiny, and they can build it. That's what people are doing with Kubernetes today. They're writing software and running software. So there's still people doing, software writing isn't a lost art. It's the thing that we do. And Kubernetes makes it easier.
There were a lot of parties last night also.
There were a lot of parties, and there was a lot of rain. Yes. There was a lot of rain. So.
How did rain affect the conference? Because I saw there was some sessions had to be moved because there was a power outage.
Oh, I hadn't seen that. Okay. It made it, San Diego is sort of, default sunny. And so everybody's sort of, figuring out what to do and how to go. I think it did, mute the mood a little bit. And there's supposed to be a big street party tonight with tents and things like that. And the showers are still coming through. So, people will talk about that. 2 years ago when KubeCon was in Austin, we had snow, which in Austin is as unusual as rain in San Diego, apparently. And
so that means KubeCon is the reason for climate change.
It is definitely. So now you know why you don't want to get on the airplane to fly, because it's all contributing. Yeah, maybe they'll find someplace like extreme weather for, look at the hottest day ever in Arizona or something. For the next KubeCon.
Maybe go to Antarctica, it may get hot there.
That would be a junket. I would definitely, we can get the cruise ship and come in.
Cruise ship, that is a good idea.
Conference on a cruise ship, people talk about it.
Yes.
It's definitely a one-way ticket. You're there for the sessions.
I just did my first cruise in my life and I loved it. So 7 days on a cruise ship, 4 days, that would be fun.
There you go.
Lots of drinks, lots of food, and a lot of and you cannot
open bar. That sounds like a tech conference to me.
Pure tech conference, and there's nowhere to go. Once you're on the ship, you have to attend all the sessions.
That's right. That's right. Attendance will be good.
Yeah.
And the Wi-Fi will be bad. So it is. It's a true conference experience.
That's true.
Then I wouldn't have to wear my badge anymore to get in and out of the building anymore.
No, you have to actually, on cruise ship, you have to bring your badge because that's how they scan everything.
All right. So the more I hear, the more that's a tech conference.
It is. The cruise will be the pure KubeCon. Dan should be listening to this and he should plan next KubeCon.
The Cube boat maybe, or the
Cube cruise, and also
the Cube cruise.
And also the logo of Kubernetes. Either way,
It's.
So
all right, this has to happen. It has to happen. So it's ships anyway. Yeah, that's true. You could do the budget version and put everybody in a container ship and get everybody a room in the container, and then you're all set.
That would be perfect. So should we make the announcement that the next KubeCon will be on a cruise ship?
I think we should do it. Do it.
Perfect. Awesome, Rob, once again, giving us, the exciting, details from the show. I'm sorry that we could not publish the yesterday's one, but we'll be publishing it today.
The hot goss is just as hot, so it'll be good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.